to start out to let y'all know, as part of what me and Bill have been working on is we've got two hot areas in town, obviously. One is on South Street, the other is North Shenandoah. And one of the biggest keys that we have discovered is lighting is a big issue, because a lot of the incidents happen at dusk and dawn. And it's obviously also the most busiest time that this town encounters with flux of traffic. So just to let y'all know, we put in a revenue sharing 50-50 for putting taller lights up on North Shenandoah to correct that issue. There basically would be the same light design that's on the bridges. We'd be just carried through.
Like that.
And so we've submitted that to VDOT for revenue sharing for 50-50 for next year.
That's great. I like that better than a stoplight.
What are we doing with South Street?
South Street, the material has been put on order. Right now, I think we're looking at end of October for the pedestrian equipment on South Street. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting pedestrian crossings at every crosswalk along South Street. And so they're not designed to stop traffic, but they're designed to warn traffic to slow down and stop and yield to the pedestrians.
I was concerned about the lighting on
And the
South
lighting.
Street.
We have provided some more lighting through there. It has helped some. I've had the PD come by and look at it. They looked at it prior or right after that incident.
Yeah.
We went back and we installed some more lighting on that road. But at the end of the day, to get additional lighting, we're going to almost have to do something like what we're looking at North Shenandoah and put some investment in it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my recommendations for South Street is there was a study done, South Street study, that had numerous recommendations on calming measures, and actually one of the recommendations was moving the traffic light that's currently there in Martin's and McDonald's south because it's a big issue right there with those fast food restaurants entering and exiting right there at that busy intersection makes it a hazard.
We have money in the budget right now for a different type of safety sign.
Right.
Instead of this breaker light, it'll buzz around like this. It's a new design that's come out, and it's not available until September, I think was the date. The other thing is, Joe talks about softening the traffic. Well, he and I both sat in that class where redesign of the crosswalks. I remember I told you all about looking at the flow of traffic, and instead of it being this way, it's an angle, it's like a V. So you're looking at traffic both ways, especially on these 4 lanes. So we need to implement some of these.
Bill, going back to the project out there, we're getting ready to overlay that area eventually, after all this water line. We need to make sure that plan's in effect before we put any crosswalks in and follow the plan that you're referring to. The same thing with any infrastructure. If you need any conduits laid or anything like that for the electrical, you need to make sure that's all done before we put that new asphalt down out on Shenandoah Avenue. Because that's going to happen in what, the next 30 days, 60 days?
Right.
So
yeah.
whoever's looking at this project, if it's electrical, then we need to do more conduit. We need to get it in before we overlay.
Right.
I don't want to see us overlay and then come right back to VDOT.
Right, and I fully agree with you, Gene, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. We have electrical on both sides of the street there on North Shenandoah.
But if you're talking about some type of pedestrian crossing light,
Right. Well, we've backed off we've backed off the mid-block crossing on North Shenandoah, and the only reason that we've taken a back step on that is because of Sheets coming. And Sheets is going to be taking over Shenandoah Motel, and we feel that may resolve the issue of people crossing over to go to Speedway.
Is that affirmative now?
They have submitted a site plan.
okay.
I was going to say, I came up through Shenandoah Avenue the other day, and a gentleman come from our Speedway now, and he was jogging in and out of traffic. And then when I came back through later, an ambulance was there. So I'm like, people put themselves in those positions a lot of times. But
Yeah, we do believe that once Sheets comes, that's going to solve that issue, because there will be the convenience store will be available on that side as well.
We were briefed that there is electrical conduit enough to do what we're.
Well, I remember we put it in and we put the new streetlights in. I know we have it, so we shouldn't have to put any whole lot of infrastructure in other than replacing the poles.
Yeah,
Maybe the base.
yeah, the lights are, actually, they'll be spaced further apart most likely.
So there will be some digging.
There will be some digging involved.
But it's gonna be behind the.
It'll be behind the curb line,
the
yes, sir.
sidewalk.
It'll be behind the curb line.
Between the sidewalk.
Joe, I'd like, as part of the pedestrian safety, I'd like for this council to review the recommendation that was made for softening the traffic, and particularly because there's dual benefit in my mind. One, softening the traffic, moving the stoplight. I always liked that. I thought that was a good idea. But there was also recommendations of how, I mean, obviously more complicated, but getting a little bit more curb out of the plan with some beautifications along the road as people are going up to Skyline and stuff like that. Again, a little bit more complicated, but I think it could help with the lighting, the curb, softening the traffic pattern, moving the light would help with pedestrian safety on that street.
Okay, so,
So I don't know how much of this council actually saw that plan, besides Jean and myself. But Bevan, I think, was championing that, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah.
And I think it kind of hit a dead end because the final recommendation was we're gonna have to get a few more feet out of each side of the street, and that was gonna be pretty difficult to do.
so we're gonna reevaluate the South Street plan.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it would make it gorgeous through there, but
by
That would
September
slow down
30th.
I call it Indy Raceway.
well, there's some
Red
red
light changes, they're off and running.
Goal is to reevaluate the South Street plan by September 30th. And the reason we can get this on a work session in September, but it's important to get this out prior to the budget so that we know if we need to incorporate anything. Who's going to champion this?
Bill?
I got it.
Bill?
Well, you want to split that? Do you want Natasha, she's been hot on South Street. Do you want to champion pedestrian safety and have Natasha concentration on South Street?
Works for me.
You good with that?
You okay?
Did you ever see that plan?
Joe, did we get a
No,
copy
I
of
didn't.
all that?
There's
some
Design?
nice renderings and stuff.
On the South Street? Yeah, I will,
No, I have it somewhere on my iPad.
I'll make a note.
That stopped it.
I'll make a note to send that.
Be good if we could get some hard copies.
Okay.
Here's something I'm gonna throw this out, just last point. I don't know how you prevent people from not walking in pedestrians, where they're supposed to walk, crosswalks. I mean, they're always gonna go from point A to point B, wherever they come out of their house or whatever they come out of their
Shortest
business.
space.
Shortest distance, and, I mean, I agree, we need better pedestrian safety, but I just don't know at what
That's why we
point,
developed
at what
the
point do we say, you know,
jaywalking rules in town.
But you can't do it.
Can't we have an
yeah,
officer?
that's what I'm saying.
This is nationwide.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is nationwide, and I think the best we can do is just keep focused. I got the PD, they're out there educating. I mean, they're doing a senior driving training this week, and they're gonna emphasize pedestrian safety. They go to the young drivers in the high schools and they talk about pedestrian safety. They go to daycares, because kids, you know, they need to be educated as well what to look for and stuff. But, you know, the biggest thing is we just got to tell our drivers to slow down, because, you know, that is, you know, you see that most of pedestrian incidents happen at dusk and dawn, and it's rush hour.
But those drivers weren't. So a lot of those cases that happened recently weren't speeding drivers.
No, they weren't.
drivers.
They
So
weren't.
it's a lack of visibility.
couldn't
with
Lack of
lighting.
visibility due to this, yeah.
It's the last person, that's it.
But it's the heavy traffic where they have to end up dodging in and out of traffic. And ignoring basically the crosswalk because it's 15 and 20 feet down.
I'm a big fan of, I like Jake's idea and Gene's, beautifying South Street, beautifying Shenandoah Avenue, at the same time pedestrian safety can be incorporated in it. I mean, I think that's a big bonus to our community.
Two highly traveled roads.
Yeah.
In a dark
All
community.
right, so we got one goal for South Street. Do we want to develop a goal for pedestrian safety?
In addition to what's already been done,
Now, remember though, we've got currently working improvements on South Street for the pedestrian crossings. And we're working, addressing the North Shenandoah. So those are our two hot spots as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's enough at this point.
I agree, I'm good.
there was one comment that Tasha had about,
Speed bumps on curb bumps.
Speed bumps. Gene says speed bumps are illegal.
They are illegal except on a private road into a subdivision.
Well, they're illegal all over Virginia.
Well, I don't know about that.
you're
They're
talking,
down
you're talking
Route
a main road.
You
First
can
I'm
put- You
grading.
can put rubble strips in, but you cannot put a speed bump. That's illegal in
That's spike
state.
strips.
State VDOT will not even consider it.
Okay,
If it's a
rumble strips.
subdivision, it's private, you can put all you want to.
I guess that,
Parking lots, whatever.
Unless it's a homeowner's, a homeowner's.
What's on Road 50, those two little towns right there that they have?
They're rumble strips.
Rubble strips, yeah. Yeah, that's legal.
What is that?
What,
like
do you know anything
Put
about
like 6 or 8 strips.
speed bumps are illegal or
You'd
not?
go,
I do know
They
that,
last 2
Where's Doug
seasons.
at?
I don't know if,
I can tell you they're illegal, I know that.
it's important to find out what VDOT's requirements are because they do give us money for maintenance of our roads.
Okay.
And if we violate that, for example, for Leech Run Parkway, we're getting that put into the inventory, we'll get reimbursement for maintenance of that road. But if that road's not built to spec, they won't pay for it. So it's important for us to do our due diligence. But I can make that as an action item. I can make that as an action item if you want, Chris, to follow up on speed bumps to verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with her because there's hundreds of children there on the weekends, especially during soccer season. And cars do fly up and down through there. But there is no stop sign.
That's it almost should be like a designated corridor, or if there's a way to create like they call it like a sanitary district or something like that to make a special exceptions for it. But that road, I'll agree, cars, they drag race through there. I mean, it's.
And they would keep going if it wasn't for that sharp turn there. I'm surprised.
Then you've got the parking too, so you
Yeah.
can see around the cars.
Yeah, plus they open up their car
We need to
doors.
get the county up putting curb and gutter on there too.
You know what? That should have been done
It should have
when
been
they redid all that. That should have been done.
Where?
I agree. The soccer fields. When they redid all them soccer, I mean, it was it Big Stump or Stump Park, whatever?
Do you all want to make that as a goal?
Which part?
Curb fit
Yes.
Yes,
in front of the soccer field.
yes. At least rumble.
As part of pedestrian safety, I think it's been brought up a few times. It's like we need
Develop a safety plan.
I'm telling you, the first time, I mean, any life loss is a tragedy, but the first time a child runs out and gets hit, it's gonna be bad news there.
That's gonna be why they will do something about it. Doug, are speed bumps still legal in Virginia?
Are they illegal?
Illegal?
As far as I know, they're illegal,
They're illegal?
as far as I know.
I should have asked you.
I'll check, but that was my understanding.
say illegal or
He said illegal.
I'll find out for you.
What do you think?
I think we made up a lot of time. It's great.
Yeah. Now, on this action item, when do you want to get back on this? I was thinking maybe, this is a hot item, so maybe 30, 60 days, what do you
I
think?
say 30 days.
30 days?
We're putting a lot in 60 days, like
Well, the soccer starts up.
next week.
There you go.
So 7 days.
So Bill, Kasha, who's going to champion this one, Bill or
I'll take curb foot.
you'll take that one as well? Okay. All right.
What was
Jellyfish.
the date on that, Joe?
Huh?
Kerfoot, what is the date?
Oh, September 19th.
Thank you.
Are we good?
Yep.
We'll put a list together and get it out to council tomorrow. Put all this